It's Patrick Hutzel from IntensiveCareHotline.com, where we instantly improve the lives for families of critically ill patients in intensive care so that you can make informed decisions, have peace of mind, real power, real control, and so that you can influence decision making fast, even if you're not a doctor or a nurse in intensive care. This is another episode of Your Questions Answered, and in last week's episode I answered another question from one of our readers, and the question last week was part 17 of my 68-year-old mother is in ICU with gastric perforation and she's not waking up after the surgery. Will she need a tracheostomy? And again, that was part 17 in this series of questions. You can check out last week's episode by clicking on the link below this video. In this week's episode of Your Questions Answered, I want to answer the next question from our client Robert, which are excerpts from email counseling and consulting sessions with me. And the question this week is part 18 of my 68-year-old mother is in ICU with gastric perforation and she's not waking up after the surgery. Will she need a tracheostomy? And this is also the last part of this series of questions from my client, Robert. You can also find previous questions from this series of questions answered if you're clicking on the links below this video in the written version of this blog. So, Robert continues with his mother's situation, and in this email, Robert writes, "Hi Patrick, I have unfortunate news. The doctors discovered from the CT scan that the area where they had operated on the second time on the intestines had another perforation and that another part of the intestines was also damaged. The attending surgeon, the one that did both her prior surgeries, came into talking to us even though she was off that day. Unfortunately, it was inoperable and irrecoverable. We as a family discussed this and made the decision that although my mother fought a valiant fight, all things considered, it was best for her and for us to let her go in peace. So we collectively as a family made that decision. My mother passed away just a couple of hours ago. She was surrounded by her husband and all four of her kids, their spouses, and her sister. We were all in the room with her for her final moments when she took her last breath. She could not have gone more peacefully. This, of course, is a very hard time for the family, but we are at peace that we supported her in her fight and left no stone unturned. I cannot thank you enough for all of your counsel, consulting and guidance, and most of all, your compassion. It has helped tremendously in ways that I cannot express. I wish you all the best, from Robert." And if you are watching this and you want one-on-one counseling and consulting, please check out the options on the top of the website. Click on the link and select from the options that are available and select what's best for you. So here's my response. "Hi Robert, I'm very, very sorry to hear that your mother has passed away. My thoughts are with you and your family. It's good to hear that you and your family have made a decision that you all supported. It's even better to hear that you and the rest of your family were all there when your mother passed away and that it was a peaceful death. Your mother has fought tremendously, and I believe up to the point yesterday when the next complication and perforation set in, it was a well worth fight. Intensive care is very unpredictable in positive and negative ways, and you never know what the outcome might be, but I believe putting your best foot forward is a worthwhile thing to do. I also think that you and your family have left no stone unturned, and I think that's good to know for your own peace of mind. I also felt that from what you were describing, you and your family weren't dealing with an overtly negative intensive care team. This is often one of the biggest challenges we have when working with clients in similar situations, and they are often dealing with a very negative intensive care team. I do believe they have been open and transparent with everything that's been happening, and that's how it should be. They would have also known at some point that you and your family are doing your own research and that you are equipped with the right questions. Apart from some comments in the beginning about wanting to withdraw treatment, you haven't mentioned any more negative comments from the intensive care team. Therefore, you could focus on your mother and her best interest and not on fighting the negativity of the team. Again, Rob, my thoughts are with you and your family, and whilst this is a difficult time in your life, you and your family have done what you were supposed to do to look for the best outcome for your mother. And even with the final outcome, it was still the best outcome for your mother, considering the circumstances. Having either witnessed or personally looked after many dying patients in intensive care, I know by now that it's okay when we die. Death is part of life, and it's okay. That's one thing that I've learned over the nearly 2 decades working in intensive care as a nurse. And again, I can't stress enough how important it is that not only did you make the decisions as a family that her fight wasn't worth continuing any longer, it's also very important that you and the rest of your family were present when she passed away. It'll help you tremendously to get closure when dealing with the loss of your mother. It was literally an end-of-life situation on your terms. Well done. Most families in intensive care are not prepared to go at such great lengths, and then you did, and therefore you have no bargaining power, and they are poor negotiators. You, on the other hand, have left no stone unturned, and you have had a lot of bargaining power because you sought help and advice, and you didn't take no for an answer, and you did do your own research. The intensive care team knew that, and they had to face up to it. Therefore, you were able to make informed decisions, get peace of mind, control, power, and influence. Wishing you and your family all the very best. So, how can you become the best advocate for your critically ill loved one? How can you make informed decisions, get peace of mind, control, power, and influence quickly once your loved one is critically ill in intensive care? You get to that all-important feeling of making informed decisions, get peace of mind, control, power, and influence when you download your free Instant Impact Report now by entering your email below. In your free Instant Impact Report, you learn quickly how to make informed decisions, get peace of mind, real power, and real control, and how you can influence decision-making fast whilst your loved one is critically ill in intensive care. Your free Instant Impact Report gives you in-depth insight that you must know whilst your loved one is critically ill or is even dying in intensive care. Sign up and download your free Instant Impact Report now by entering your email below. In your free Instant Impact Report, you learn how to speak the secret intensive care language so that the doctors and the nurses know straight away that you are an insider and that you know and understand what's really happening in intensive care. In your free report, you will also discover how to ask the doctors and the nurses the right questions, discover the many competing interests in intensive care, and how your critically ill loved one's treatment may depend on those competing interests. How to eliminate fear, frustration, stress, struggle, and vulnerability even if your loved one is dying. You get 5 mind-blowing tips and strategies helping you to get on the right path to making informed decisions, get peace of mind, control, power, and influence in your situation. You'll get real-world examples that you can easily adapt to your and your critically ill loved one's situation. How to stop being intimidated by the intensive care team and how you will be seen as equals. You'll get crucial behind-the-scenes insight so that you know and understand what's really happening in intensive care and how you need to manage doctors and nurses in intensive care, and it's not what you think. Thank you for tuning into this week's Your Questions Answered episode, and I'll see you again in another update next week. Make sure you also check out our blog section for more tips and strategies, or simply send me an email to support@intensivcarehotline.com with your questions. Or you can call me, find the international phone numbers on our contacts tab and on the top of the website. Also, check out our ebook section where you get more ebooks, videos and audio recordings, and where you can also get one-on-one counseling and consulting with me via Skype over the phone or via email by clicking on the tab on the top of the website and select from the options that work best for you. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivcarehotline.com, and I'll see you again next week in another update.